Traveling with your kids can be an exciting and eye-opening experience for the entire family. There are new foods to try, new sceneries to see, and lots of different attractions to enjoy, not to mention the opportunity to bond as a family. However, there are a few important details you need to consider before you begin making plans. Today, we'll be drawing your attention to the important things you need to think about before making plans to travel with your kids. The world is a vast and intriguing place to be in, with lots of possible travel destinations. From the forest resorts in Africa, the islands in the Caribbean, the mountain resorts in Asia, and the ruins in Europe, there are lots of amazing adventures you can have with your kids. But it's vital to realize that traveling with kids and traveling alone are two completely different things. And the things that are acceptable to do or overlook when you're alone can have major consequences when you're with your kids. So stick around to the end, because in this video, we have all the things you need to consider before booking that trip. If you enjoy videos like this, subscribe and ring the notification bell for more videos on traveling with kids. You also don't want to miss our video on the top tips for traveling with kids, which is linked in the description box below. The first thing you want to consider are the ages of your kids, because this will be the blueprint for planning your trip. Kids of different ages require different schedules, tricks, and planning in general. Traveling with infants and kids under 10 years old is completely different from traveling with kids aged 10 and older. Their ages basically determine the course of the trip, like budget, destination, weather, duration, meals, and accommodation. Knowing how much you want to save and how much you plan on spending is extremely crucial. Some destinations are more expensive than others, which means that you may need to save for a longer period. Some things to consider when budgeting are the cost of flights and accommodation, the basic costs of living, and the prices of activities. Don't forget to throw in the cost of souvenirs. You can watch our video on tips for traveling with kids on a budget, which you can find in the description box. Choosing a destination for your trip can be hard because of the variety of options at your disposal. However, it's important to choose one that aligns with your budget, is child-friendly, and has a lot of activities that everyone can enjoy. There are lots of factors that influence this choice, like if you'll be traveling near or far, if it's going to be adventure-packed or relaxation-centered, and lots more. If you need help choosing a destination, we've got a video on the 10 best destinations to travel with kids. Link in the description box. The time of the year has a huge influence on the weather and on the types of activities to do and outfits to pack. Having an idea on your budget and destination doesn't matter if you pick a bad time of the year to go. So once you've decided on where you want to go, check the weather to see if it's the best time to visit the location. Some locations are better in the summer, some in the winter, and at other times of the year. It is vital to find out what legal documents you need while traveling. Different companies and airlines have different policies, and so there are important documents to have on hand in any situation to ensure your travels are as stress-free as possible. Some documents, such as child travel consent forms, are not only required, but also helpful in protecting children by reducing the risk of child trafficking. Make sure you find out what other documents you may require, like passports, proof of relationship, and visas. You might want to invest in travel insurance in case things don't go according to plan. Travel insurance is just as important as a passport when traveling abroad. Without it, you or your family could suffer a serious financial loss. It can protect you against trip cancellation or shortening due to reasons beyond your control, missed transport or delayed departure, as well as medical and other emergencies. Having these risks covered provides an additional layer of financial protection and ease of mind. Another thing to keep in mind is whether to book a package vacation or to book everything separately. There are definitely advantages and disadvantages to both, but it's something worth considering. Whether it's a 3-day weekend getaway or a month-long vacation, having a clear idea of how long you want the trip to be is extremely insightful. When it comes to accommodations, there are different options like a hotel, a rental house, an Airbnb, or even a cabin. The choice you make depends on the size of your family and the amount of space you require. Although hotels offer better services like daily room service and laundry, a rental might be a better option if you need that family setting and plan to cook your own meals. For a large group, renting an entire house may be less expensive than booking individual hotel rooms. Security is of utmost importance, especially when traveling with kids. You have to do enough research to ensure that your destination is not only safe for families, but also has sufficient healthcare programs in case of an emergency. It is also vital to check the proximity of a hospital to your accommodation. Although budgeting is important, sometimes when traveling with kids, convenience outweighs cost. A cheap flight with a layover looks a lot easier on your pockets than it does when you're at the airport with a screaming toddler. You can consider various airports when booking a flight if it means getting a direct flight. While it may be tempting to make use of low-cost airlines, remember that they fly into remote airports, which could mean more travel. Another thing to think about is your flight time. Do you want a late-night trip when the kids are already exhausted and would sleep throughout the ride? Or one in the morning, which is less likely to be delayed, and they're well-rested and in a good mood? Whatever your choice, try to avoid the first flight of the day like the plague. You don't want to be pressured and rushed or miss your flight because Tommy wouldn't get in the car. Some other things you might have to consider are whether or not to carry a car seat or stroller if you have an infant, sitting arrangements on the plane, means of transportation when you arrive, types of activities to do with the kids, and places to eat that are family-friendly. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of this video. If it was helpful in any way, smash that like button, share it with your friends who may need it as well, and subscribe for more weekly videos like this one.